We, as the residents of the Stony Point corridor, understand that with the opening of the new high school, students will have to move. And we know that Denmark will be another great Forsyth County school. That is not our concern. Our concern is far bigger than that. We have read the 6 main criteria that was used to determine the redistricting lines. And we understand that although those are the main criteria, there have to be other specifications as well. Proximity does matter, for it affects safety, among other things. And even though safety was not listed as a standard, we have got to believe that our county is concerned with the safety of our children. It is evident by the great lengths they go to protect our children while at school. But bus routes, distance, and travel time also affect the safety of our children. We have driven these routes, and we have considered safety concerns such as unprotected lefts, accident reports, and the time of day in which we will be on the road. My neighborhood is just 0.8 miles from South Forsyth High School. So we got in the car one day and drove the 0.8 of a mile from the entrance of my neighborhood to South Forsyth. It took just 1.5 minutes to arrive at the entrance of South. That's 3 minutes round trip in the morning, for a total of 6 minutes both ways each day. We then got in the car at the same time of day and videoed as we drove the 6.5 miles to Denmark High School, which, by the way, is the 3rd farthest away high school from us. And without any traffic, it took us 15 minutes one way. That's 30 minutes round trip in the morning without any traffic, for a total of a minimum of 1 hour each day sitting in the car, just to get our children to school and back home. And that is without any traffic. Imagine the time we will actually be spending getting our children to and from school. For those that work, it's nearly impossible. In a year's time to drive to Denmark, it will take those on Stony Point Road a minimum of 180 hours drive time in the car. However, in comparison, it will take us just 18 hours to get to South over the course of a year. That's a difference of 162 hours minimum sitting in our cars, and exponentially many additional hours on the bus. They say that time is our most valuable asset. It's a shame that Forsyth County residents will have to spend their most valuable asset sitting in their cars. They say that proximity doesn't matter. Proximity matters. We've been told that we can start over and create community and build Denmark up just like we did South. How are we supposed to do that when we have already spent a minimum of an hour to get our children to and from school? Having then to make that arduous drive again will limit our volunteer hours and investment in a school that does not reside in our community. Proximity does matter. Don't let them fool you. It does. The distance is so far away, and the time it takes to get there does not allow us enough time to get back and get our middle schoolers to clubs, help sessions, sports, and more. How can they say that proximity doesn't matter? Tell that to our middle schoolers who can't participate in clubs, activities, and sports. And what about families that have more than one high school student? If one child has to wake up and go into school early, the other children will have to as well. Because we cannot physically drive to Denmark and back in enough time to take our other children to school. You know why? Because proximity does matter. They say that proximity doesn't matter, but those that will be spending their most valuable asset sitting in a car just to get their children to and from school for a minimum of 180 hours in a school year, we know that it does. Proximity matters, South Forsyth. Proximity matters.
Go Eagle! My brother's an Eagle and I want to be an Eagle too.
South Forsyth legacy!
We love Sopo Nation!
Stony Point is South Forsyth.
No dogs, I'm a war eagle.